So I've already talked quite a bit about why equine biomechanics research has been important over the course of history, and also a little bit about some antiquated techniques for quantifying the horse's movements for better data analysis. But now I think I still need to talk some more about modern techniques for studying the horse's movement. So let's begin with a technique called electrogoniometry. Electrogoniometry uses a device referred to as an elgon to measure joint angle changes in various gaits. This device is useful in determining the difference between the gaits of a sound horse and the gaits of a lame horse. Perhaps even more useful than electrogoniometry are the image-based motion analysis systems that have become increasingly available. Video recordings of equine motion are extremely useful in a clinical setting, and the level of sophistication of this method can vary quite a bit depending on camera quality, number of cameras and markers used, etc. The footage gathered using this technique can be coupled with special software programs used for video-based kinematic analysis, and these systems are available for horses and people, but some examples of these types of software include Equinalysis and Equine Gait Tax Digital Motion Analysis System. Another way to carry out kinematic analysis is through the use of ground reaction force measurements. So according to Newton's third law of motion, which we're all familiar with, the ground exerts a force on the horse's hoof that is equal in magnitude and opposite in direction to the force the horse exerts on the ground during a stance phase of the stride. So the stance phase of the stride is when the horse's foot touches the ground. And effectively, GRF measurements can indicate a variety of things, but perhaps the most important to know for our purposes is that in a sound horse, the GRF amplitudes graphed will be symmetrical between limbs, especially at the walk, which is a 4-beat gait, as we all know from watching the Gates lecture. A force plate is a steel plate that can be mounted on the ground where a horse can walk on it. And the plate is typically coated in a non-slip material so that the horse will feel comfortable moving around on it. And when the horse steps on the plate, the amount of force applied is picked up by transducers in the corner of the plate, which transform the force into a recordable electrical impulse, which can be analyzed through the computer programs that we talked about before. Force shoes also work to record ground reaction forces, but they are also more portable and useful on different types of surfaces. The force shoe can be applied directly to the hoof, placed in between a base plate and a shoe, or placed inside a boot attached to the horse's hoof. However, one disadvantage of using a force shoe is that the sheer weight of the shoes may alter the horse's stride somewhat appreciably. So these shoes are not really available on the regular market, but researchers are working with them and trying to improve them so that they can be used more extensively and so that they can acquire better data as the technology improves. So those are just a few examples of the techniques being used, and I think that's enough to cover for our purposes.